Otzinger, one of the newest council members. I'm grateful that I got to know Jason when I worked with him as the outreach coordinator for the chamber back in the day. And so now I'm grateful here. I work at the college now, and again, I think I do know many of you, but I'm looking forward to working with you more.
Thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate that. I did send a notice earlier today about reviewing the meeting minutes from the last time we met. However, our Zoom call did not record last time. So I'm going to need to get with Riley here in the next week or so, and we can go over that previous agenda, and we can fill in the gaps for that meeting minutes, so we can look forward to that at our next meeting coming up. So
thank you, Jason.
Yes, no problem. Review of the 2020 budget. Riley, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, do you both have the 2020 budget in front of you?
That'd be great.
Running here a little bit. We'll probably see a little bit more when it comes to spending when we get into the fall season and with some of the sports and some of those things. So those salaries and part-time salaries will probably change a little bit. I don't think we have any major equipment purchases on the head right now, except for maybe looking at that data plan thing that we talked about as well. And anything else that I can think of?
No, we did make a couple of small ones just today. I got us some DTAP plates and some new batteries, because since you're not really, this is your first meeting here, Jolene, but we've been developing and expanding our capabilities to do remote broadcasts and live streams with multiple cameras instead of just a single camera or a phone over Facebook or something like that. And as we've worked with our system and developed it, we've discovered a few weak spots and battery.
Can you share more about what that means? A few weak spots?
Sure. One of the weak spots that we discovered recently was that we needed more battery power for our wireless transmitters. And specifically a 2-pin connection that not every battery that we own has. It's called a DTAP. So we needed more DTAP. So I got us some inexpensive plates that will mount to tripod stands, and they can make use of our existing V-mount batteries. And I also found a nice sale on some bigger V-mounts that have DTAPs built in, so I bought some of them as well. And now we should not be without DTAP power in the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Because I'm new, could you share a little more about the publications, dues, and subscriptions? What that entails?
Publications, dues, and subscriptions, the big number there, if I can get this to load, is the big number there is an information service that we buy from Laytronics. Laytronics is the company that manufactures the video servers that we use for recording and playback of our programs. And they provide an information service that feeds a news and weather and random information stream onto the site in between programs. And that's the biggest part of that.
So it allows for filling, so there's not dead time?
Right. So one channel has that, and the other channel has the local message board. And the rest of the dues and subscriptions is membership to Wisconsin Community Media. It's an association of stations like ours around the state.
Thanks.
Sure. Anything else?
Well, I think maybe we'll talk about it in the future as far as making sure that people are, we're getting as most eyes on to the different social media and places like that. But, I do see there's advertising here. There's a little bit, and maybe that'd be interesting to explore how that is being utilized or how we could utilize that to our advantage. Maybe it's a future meeting. I don't know.
Okay. Well, the advertising budget that, as you can see, hasn't been used yet is mostly if we need help. If we, if I need to hire a person, or if we need to do some sort of outreach. It's a number in a column. It usually ends up getting moved somewhere else by the end of the year. And it's there because sometimes we need to advertise things.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't tie into any Facebook or social media promotion or anything like that, that's,
No,
okay,
no, it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with that.
okay,
It would be for print media.
okay,
That was the question I had.
okay.
Okay, did that answer your question, Amanda? Or
Or
Whitney?
Oh, yeah, it's Whitney.
Okay.
It's Whitney.
But we're seeing,
But
but we're seeing it could potentially, I mean, since it's been often moved around, and again, maybe that's a discussion item for a future meeting. I mean, it could be used for Facebook ads, for example, or anything.
It could be,
Perhaps.
yes.
Okay.
We could use it on any platform, and if we used it for some sort of advertising, then it would be advertising.
Okay.
Any other questions for Riley on the budget? All right, hearing none, we'll move to receiving reports. Programming update, Riley, the floor is yours for the next few minutes.
Thanks. Well, our programming pace has slowed down considerably in the last 3 months, along with everyone else's. What we've done is redoubled our efforts to find and create live stream opportunities. And we just finished our first real such live stream at Thrasher Opera House last Friday. They've started a new four-week series of Friday concerts in an effort to have some programming there. And we did a 3-camera live stream of that event and made a recording of it. And our collaboration with the Opera House was that the Ripon channel provided the equipment and the personnel to operate the equipment, and Thrasher Opera House received a live stream video that they were able to sell virtual tickets to, and the Ripon channel gets a recording that we can use for broadcast programming. And it went well. There are always things that can be improved, and there's room for improvement in this one, but we feel that it went well. And beyond that, there have been a couple of candidate forums that were presented by the Ripon area, the League of Women Voters of the Ripon area, and those were covered well, and meetings, and that's where we are right now. We took a stab at some high school baseball last week and discovered that we need to do more homework before we can successfully cover baseball. And that's about where we are. Any questions?
All right, hearing none,
Well,
go ahead.
Is there any support you feel that you need? I know you said you need to do more homework. Is there any support from this committee to be able to expand your programming?
Well, I guess it would depend what the support is. We're looking for options. We feel that it takes a certain amount of time to put all these things together. Now that we have successfully accumulated the equipment and learned how to operate the equipment and successfully perform such an operation, we feel like we're in a position where we can move ahead with more programs at a quicker pace. But that still means having something to show. You know, it's at this point we have a nice setup of personnel and equipment that's looking for something to cover.
So if you're looking for something to cover, how do we feel that if there are different community organizations doing some type of event, whether live or socially distanced in person, what is our avenue that they would inform you of an opportunity? Do we feel like there's a good way that people are getting information to you as far as potential opportunities?
Now we're back to the community camera almost.
Kind of, yeah.
And I'm not saying advocating for that. I just hear you saying that you're looking for opportunities. Is that correct? Did I hear you say you're looking for more opportunities?
Well, we are to an extent, you know. We're always interested in opportunities, and at the same time, we're aware that there are only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
Because frankly, the Friday at the Opera House, that was 24 man hours to do a 90-minute show.
Yeah.
And anything else would be similar. So we have a certain amount of scheduled employee hours that we can use. And
Right, but that time will start to come down once you become more familiar with the setup and the camera and those kind of things. Not to a huge extent, but you know, once you get it moving,
a little
we're
bit,
comfortable, I think.
a little bit, but the travel and the setup
Yeah.
and the takedown, it takes some time.
Mhm.
And we can be faster next time, but not huge. But yes, broadly, yes, we're looking for opportunities.
And what is the process that someone would know to do to see if you want to be a part of an opportunity?
If they would please send me an email at ricenoggle@cityofripon.com,
Okay.
that would be great.
Whitney, is that something we can maybe incorporate into our social media message here?
That's exactly what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
Kind of more of like a call out for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
call to action on those kind of things would be great.
And then I know, because everything's still kind of in that learning process in that stage, but the more you have things planned out ahead of time and I can get that promoted from that side of it, that would be awesome too, just so I'm a little bit more proactive than reactive when those live streams come up or anything like that. And so that's where, with all these new adventures that you guys are tackling, I want to promote them as much as I possibly can too.
Sure thing.
Just kind of keeping up with that. I'll check in with you, Riley, often just to see how things are progressing on that side.
Thank you.
So just to kind of take away some things, like, so you obviously have the show from Thrasher last week. Is there a way to maybe do a 15-second teaser video that we can also put into our Facebook rotation as well, saying, hey, you know, this is going to be available coming up on, you know, our YouTube channel page and those kind of things as well? So some
Absolutely.
post-production stuff.
We have a 100-minute raw recording right now.
Okay.
And the edit will happen this week.
Okay, great. Great.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, does that help?
Yeah. Any more programming updates from Ripon Chat? Anything
No, I can't think of anything.
operations-wise, Ryan?
Well, operations-wise, that's what we've been doing is learning and preparing and sorting and being ready for such a thing. And it worked.
Good. Anything on the legislative update? I know that it's kind of been pretty quiet here the last
It really has been very quiet.
6 months.
Yeah, there really
It's,
isn't.
kind of concerning.
For my sake, can you explain what that means, legislative update?
Well, the WCM lobbies consistently in favor of stations like ours, and there are some other parties that lobby consistently to diminish or remove entirely stations like ours. And that plays out at the legislative level in the state primarily. And it's been pretty quiet so far this year.
So, just for my sake, what do we typically do with this? Does that mean that there are some times during the year where if we hear about a danger of lobbying against a station like ours, does that mean you bring it to this group and then we think about how we will give our support or not? Or how does this typically play out?
Well, that's exactly right, Joy.
Okay.
There have been times when this committee has written letters to legislators and signed form letters to legislators and taken action that way.
Got it.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right, any feedback from the public, Riley, that you need to share? Does anybody have any feedback from the public that they want to share?
I don't have anything.
On the social media side of it, I haven't seen any interaction or any messages come through from Facebook or Twitter, and then same with the YouTube channel as well.
Okay,
Be quiet.
all right. Discussion items. Whitney, I'll turn it over to you for a social media and website update.
I guess. Okay. So with that, wait, it's not saved. Nope. Okay. I might have missed. I didn't change the header on my metrics that I sent you. It still says May 2020, but it's supposed to be June. All the metrics included in there are for June timeframe. But overall, through YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, have seen increases over the last month, which is great to see. We have more content rolling through. There's a lot more engagement happening. With the YouTube channel specifically, we have 11 new subscribers. At the moment I sent you guys the metrics, we were at 165. When I looked at right now, it will be 168 too. So still seeing that increased growth in subscribers. And just to kind of update everyone, once you reach 100 subscribers, you're able to customize your channel, and so the Ripon channel has its own URL now, not just a bunch of random numbers, letters, and everything else like that. So it's nice to kind of take that ownership when it comes to owning a little portion of that YouTube.
That is
So
nice.
with that, the top videos for your YouTube was the Republican Forum, and then football and basketball views from 2019 and then 2020, early 2020 for that. With the secondary page of the Ripon Channel 19 YouTube page, we had 2 new subscribers. Still see with no interaction going through, but I know there's a way to manually remove these videos, and we can upload them to our YouTube channel if that's something you guys are interested on. It may take me a little bit to do, but that content can then all be in one area. So I just kind of need a yes and no from, I guess, Riley's sake or anybody's sake, and I can slowly kind of pick away at
I would say
uploading
yes.
those photos.
Yeah.
Or those
Yes.
photos.
Yeah, definitely a yes on that, Whitney.
Okay, got it. And then
Question for that,
once
Whitney, and for others. Does that mean that, sorry,
is removed then, or
Can you repeat that one more time,
to
Whitney?
help with the less confusion? Would you prefer that the Ripon Channel 19 YouTube page be removed after all of those photos or videos are uploaded to the channel?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that there's less confusion?
that was my question.
For that sake?
Yeah, correct.
I'll let you know when everything has been completed. I'll give you the heads up for it before I do any removal process for it.
Thanks. Yeah, there has been some confusion there.
Yep, and then with us still seeing an increase in subscribers too, it's hard to understand, I guess, from that side of it, that they may think that that's the YouTube channel or Ripon channel, but it's not. So just to help lessen the confusion. So with Twitter and Facebook, going over those just briefly, still saw some increase in followers, and then also engagement. So all total impressions were up, and then our average impressions were doubled at least too. So the top post was for the fire district meeting that was held as far as impressions go. I would like to kind of take all of this new video efforts that we're doing, really highlight them on the Twitter page and the Facebook page too, to kind of gain a little bit more wider reach as far as different new followers compared to some of the city board meetings that we have too. So just to kind of shake things up a little bit for that sake. So that's Twitter, and then for Facebook, we saw an increase of 8 new likes. And then looking at just the metrics compared to last year, saw an increase overall in views, reach, and engagement, and then also our videos as well. So I know having other Facebook pages that are associated with some of those videos in one way or another, so if it's the community groups that we are trying to reach out to, having them share that content on their Facebook page, that really just helps from an organic standpoint too. So just kind of continue those efforts that we try to do with the local school district ones and go ahead from there. So that is the social media side of it. Any questions on that portion?
No, I think we're very pleased with the work that you're doing there.
Thank you. I always see opportunities, so I always feel like I need to do more. So whatever I can help with. And,
Sure. And I think that everyone involved will be really happy at any kind of promotion that we can give to this Friday series that we're doing in July. Because we have put a lot of preparation into it, and we're really pleased with the way the first one went. And we're trying, it was good for a first run, and we're trying to build it and improve it every time.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, I will definitely kind of take a stronger standpoint and build up from that end of it for sure.
Sure.
As far as website metrics go, it's a little bit more quiet. So when I looked at the Google Analytics from it. We had 6 new viewers for the website, and 33% of those were returning visitors. So there are always things that can be adjusted and whatnot. I know the electronics links were associated with the website, so I'm going to go in there and just adjust those so that they revert to the YouTube playlist that each of them are associated with it now, since we have been live streaming those on the YouTube channel. So there's just some upkeep part to just refresh the website on my end that I'm going to tackle before next meeting as well. But I know we had kind of briefly talked about this, Jolene and Jason, just as a conversation going on, but they had mentioned a walkthrough tutorial or some kind of helpful video as far as how to take in any portion of the Ripon channel, whether that's on social media or through cable. And I wonder if that's maybe a part of a page that we can update on the website too, to like revert those or send those people to, and just kind of help that traffic to the website to get them used to.
Well, I don't know why not.
Right. All right, and when we were kind of discussing that, that's just a quick tutorial on how to get to the, the YouTube page and,
Sure.
how to utilize it, or maybe get there from the Facebook feed that, leads into the YouTube page.
Sure.
Those kind of things, so just a quick tutorial that you guys could film and show people how to use it, and, whatever you need for, those kind of either directions or voiceover or whatever, so.
Great. I don't know why we couldn't do
And
something
from
like
a
that.
digital, I know. And from like a digital side of it too, if there's anything just like creating wise, just a JPEG walkthrough, I can easily help with that side of it too, to put something more on the website and even on our social media pages too, to share.
So how do we make that a formal, is that something we need to sort of vote on, that we want to create something like
I
this?
don't think we need to formally vote on it, just the fact that we would like it done,
Yeah.
I think more than
Good.
anything, so.
Yeah.
And then, we'll talk more about some programming stuff here in just a little bit too, but I think that's, imperative for us to try to grow this, more in terms of the social and the website. This is kind of a good step for us to begin with, I think, so. Thank you very much, Whitney, appreciate it.
Welcome.
Anybody else on the line have any questions for Whitney at all? Hearing none, I will move forward. Fall programming updates. Just kind of wanted to talk about what the plan is moving forward, what kind of coverages you're looking at doing in the fall. I know that's kind of where the sports season ramps up a little bit more, but hard to say with while the sports season will go. And it could be a
Really
point where.
difficult to say how that's going to be.
Right, and it could be a point where the Ripon channel becomes the way to actually watch or attend a sporting event. So.
That's a possibility.
Right, so we kind of need to make sure that we're ready to rock. in
So I
those
guess
situations.
it might be that our timing for ramping this up has been fortuitous.
Right, right.
Yes.
What,
We don't even know what's happening yet.
right. In terms of the ability for us to live broadcast everything, which I think we talked about at the last meeting, where are we at in that process? And I know when I talked to you last week, you're having some issues with finding data plans and that kind of stuff for the ability for us to do some of that.
Right, well, we just need to, if the committee made a recommendation to Lori, then we could probably do that.
Okay. Well, that's something I think we should probably
Okay,
get done.
yeah.
Does
And
that
it
need
would
to
still-
come from me? Or is
It would
that-
still depend on coverage,
Okay.
you know, because that's how a hotspot works.
Mm-hmm.
But sure, we could buy a data plan and use that for live broadcasting when better Wi-Fi is not available.
Right. I think that's a goal that we've wanted, that anything that we're doing now, moving forward, we'd like to have on that.
We
live.
should maintain it.
Yeah,
and-
have
and
that
not-
live.
And not step backwards.
Yeah.
I agree,
Okay.
I agree. Do we, has Ripon College decided on what's happening with sports in the fall? Or is that still under
So-
discussion every day?
Yeah, so the last information I have is that, so the plan is that August 17th classes will resume, and it sounds as though the plan is that, it's up to, and I guess I don't know, it is up to every day, but it does sound like, the conference is making plans, colleges are making plans with the goal of that there will be in-person games. But we all know that can change as we go. But the good news is the NCAA has not said that can't happen. So we're moving forward with making plans to hopefully have a season. And, and then also looking what testing will be like. As far as the campus goes, there will be a requirement to wear masks for faculty, students, and staff. Obviously, for athletes, that these things are all being discussed right now. But moving forward, and then as you know too, perhaps there's a change in the calendar. So August 17th, a little bit earlier, and then at Thanksgiving break, the semester will be done.
Right.
So.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that, but that's good. For example, is Center for Politics and the People planning a schedule?
They are, and so their first event that they have confirmed is September 30th, and it will be, through Zoom, and this would be, I think that can happen, right?
I would assume it would be able to.
There must be a
Yeah,
way.
there's that way. And that's something I think we maybe need to look at a little bit more going forward as well too, because then, like when we had our cable TV advisory meeting last month, because, we could have been able to tap into that resource and still show that on the Ripon
Sure.
channel, even though, we were meeting remotely. And I think as we move forward, those meetings may go a little bit more, become more often, so.
Sure.
And I think this will be an event, the September 30th one, that will be really interesting for the Ripon community because it's on voting. And in fact, the newly elected national president of the League of Women Voters will be a part of it,
Oh,
as well as looking at some of the historical perspectives of voting. So a reminder for me, when you decide to broadcast something, do you need a formal request by that organization? And then do you make that decision? Does it need to come to the committee?
I generally make the decision.
Okay,
And a formal request can be in the form of an email saying that
Perfect.
we're having this event. Are you able to cover it? That's sufficient.
and then how does it work maybe for Whitney as far as
A little bit of notice
advertising
is nice so that we
an
have.
event? So then she can advertise it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I would just automatically maybe
That's
just
just
include.
kind of a heads up whenever you guys know, and then
Yeah,
whenever
just-
I can promote.
Yeah, and you can just copy Whitney on it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will draft up a letter to Lori about moving forward with a data plan
Sure.
for the Ripon channel so we can get that moving. Because ideally, we would like to have it in place, obviously, by the first event.
Well, they'll do that pretty quickly,
Right,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
within a couple of days, I would assume. So, and then making sure that, we're able to utilize it and
Right.
work it through that. But
Right.
when we get
Well,
into those places where we don't have coverage.
yeah, I'm not, we'll see how that works. The city's employee phones are Verizon phones,
Okay,
and maybe that's fine.
okay.
It seems like Verizon's coverage is not as robust in every area as some other providers.
Well, neither is some of the stuff that we get from the school districts or universities or any other places.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's certainly kind of a wait and see thing, so an approach, so.
Okay.
Right. Anything else for fall programming updates? Anybody have any ideas, suggestions, any of those? If you do, I would just say maybe just recommend sending Riley an email on those and kind of bringing him into the loop and some thoughts on that, so.
Sure.
I know we had primarily covered football and a few of those things, but I don't know if there's any other things that they were looking at maybe bringing in or.
Well, we're not just limited to sports
Right,
and music events. We can, if it's an event that has community interest, we can cover it.
sure. Great.
Is it worth reaching out to, I don't know what places like Rotary or Kiwanis, I'm involved in some of them, but if they have a speaker that is sort of through Zoom to kind of tag along or feature on the channel, I don't know if that's worth exploring. I don't know what those organizations are
Well,
utilizing
usually
right now.
with the kind of the pro version of Zoom, you'll have the ability to record that meeting. So then they would just be able to send that file, I would think, or a link to that file to you.
And sure, and we could rebroadcast that. We could rebroadcast it, we could share it on our YouTube channel.
So interestingly enough, speaking from the college, tomorrow there's an event of alumni looking at how to find a job in difficult times.
Okay.
But this should be maybe something then where it's a connection with you and to see if you wanted to also,
Well, I would suggest if we're hosting it to kind of record the Zoom.
Is it a virtual event? If you can record that, that sounds like something we'd be happy to share.
okay,
Yeah, and
Great.
then just have them share
Yes.
the link with us or
Yes,
the file.
Okay.
it's very timely
Yeah.
and has broad community appeal. Because I'm sure that people associated with the college are not the only people interested in finding employment.
yeah, super.
Right, 2021 planning and coverage discussion, I just put this on there as kind of a blanket discussion piece or anything that we wanted to, add to or dive into that we haven't really touched before, or I think just kind of more involving some of the programming that may be digitally available virtually, I guess, from either Zoom meetings or, those kind of things to at least share.
I think it's going to be important for us to do more and more of that. We've had good success with the Ripon Area School District Board meetings. They've recorded their meetings and provided the files to us.
Right.
And they're fine. We're happy to do that.
Anybody else have any thoughts or suggestions for the good of the group on that? That's my testing point to see if anybody's still hanging out.
That's right. Apparently not.
I'm still here.
Okay, good deal, good deal. We do have a meeting scheduled for September 14th, that's taking August off. Is that something do we need to meet in August, or would September be fine, or?
September would be
Okay,
good.
Okay.
Well, I want to ask, depending on how this proposal for the data plan goes, is there anything we will have to meet to approve, depending on the answer, sooner before September?
That's something we could always accomplish if we needed to via email.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think not, thanks.
But I don't think there would be any, Riley's kind of made most of the executive decisions for the organization and
Great.
outside of those things, so. But, so we are scheduled for September 14th, and we'll plan for that here at 4 p.m. at that day, so.
Okay, good.
Anybody else have any comments or any additions to upcoming agendas or anything like that? Okay.
When is
It was
Septemberfest?
a good meeting.
It was a good meeting, I appreciate that. So, we'll call the meeting adjourned then. So thank you so very much for your time today, and thanks much, appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.